There's a difference between beating a team and making them question whether they were invited to the game in the first place. That's exactly what Spain did to Austria. This wasn't football, it was a masterclass disguised as a knockout match. Austria arrived hoping to pull off another World Cup surprise. Instead, they spent 90 minutes chasing shadows, and those shadows were wearing red. Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Joji's 5 Cents. If you haven't done it already, please show me some love. Like, subscribe, share. Put in those comments, put in those 5 cents, and I'll try to get back to you as early as possible. But we are back to the match, Spain versus Austria, and it was one of those moments when someone walks into a room, doesn't raise their voice, doesn't try too hard, yet somehow everyone immediately knows who's in charge, and that was Spain. No unnecessary drama from the Spanish, nothing to do, nothing to panic about, just quiet authority. Just like a chess grandmaster who already knows how the game ends. But before you even touched your first blooming chess piece, but coming into this match, there were whispers. Have Spain really hit top gear as yet? Sure, they were unbeaten. They hadn't conceded a goal. But there was that frustrating draw against Cabo Verde earlier in the tournament, and somehow no one talks about what you do right. It's the things that you do wrong and absolutely take the crap. That's where things started to get pointed about. But people, they wondered why these European champions had become a little too obsessed with possession and not enough with punishment. Austria probably thought the same. But that delusion didn't last very long, did it? Because Austria actually started with some courage. Ralph Rangnick's side, they pressed high. If you've watched the match, you would know. They tried disrupting Spain's rhythm, the movement, and but before it could settle, it was about like 15 minutes or so. It looked like they had a plan. Then Spain did what Spain did. They've perfected this over the last couple of years. They didn't just speed the game up, they slowed everyone else the F down. Now, there's a difference. If you don't know what I mean, you probably should have watched the match, but that's why I'm here. Because when Spain have the ball, the match begins to move to their heartbeat, not according to the plan that the opposition came with. But then there was the breakthrough. The ball found Mark Cucurella on the left. One quick look up and one perfectly weighted delivery, and arriving exactly where great strikers are needed to be and where they love to live was Mikel Oyarzabal, a header and goal, making it 1-0. It was simple but clinical, like opening a bottle with one twist and hear that pop. There was no wasted movement with this finish. It was just brilliance by Mikel Oyarzabal. Austria needed a response, though. Instead, Spain responded once again. The second half had barely found its rhythm when Spain struck once more, this time through Pedro Porro. Yes, the Tottenham winger. Not known for being the headline act, but football has a funny habit because sometimes that supporting actor actually steals that Oscar. Receiving that ball in space, Porro unleashed a strike that flew beyond Alexander Schlager, making it 2-0. The big goose's egg because Austria suddenly looked like a boxer realizing the fight was already on the judges' scorecards. Now, here's the part I absolutely love because everyone expected Lamine Yamal to dominate the headlines once again for Spain. The teenager didn't score though. He didn't even register an assist. Yet, he was still named player of the match. And why? Because football isn't always measured by statistics. Sometimes your biggest contribution to the match is making everyone else panic. And every time Lamine Yamal received the possession, two defenders moved towards him, sometimes three. That created oceans of space for everyone else. Imagine a celebrity walking into a cafe. Nobody noticed the coffee anymore because everyone's on the celebrity. That's exactly what Lamine Yamal did to Austria's defense. And then came that final blow late in the match. And guess who? It was none other than Mikel Oyarzabal once again. Right place, right time, right finish. 3-0 game set and match. He became the first Spanish player to score twice in a World Cup knockout match since Emilio Botrangino in 1986. So that was 40 bloody years ago, and one legendary name. Finally, another joins that list. But here's the statistic that tells you everything. Australia didn't register a single bloody shot on target, not one. Think about that. It's a World Cup knockout match against Europe's one of Europe's most aggressive pressing teams. But Spain didn't just defend well, they erased the need to defend. The last time a team, I'm just trying to think, that managed this in a World Cup knockout game was Germany. Yes, back in 2014 in the World Cup final. And while everyone remembers the goals, Spain's fullbacks quietly put on a clinic. Marc Cucurella delivered two assists. Pedro Porro scored one himself. Modern football isn't about defenders defending anymore. Trust me, and this started in Spain, in La Liga, in the academies back there. It's your fullback suddenly being the secret playmaker. The atmosphere inside the SoFi Stadium reflected exactly what was happening on that pitch. Spanish fans turned Los Angeles into something that felt remarkably close to Madrid. Even Hollywood got involved. Actors Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem, alongside with singer Rosalia, were spotted celebrating every Spanish move from the bloody stands. Because when Spain plays, they play where celebrities forget that they are celebrities. They become just fans. That's how boyish the Spanish makes celebrities or even famous people look like. And the scary bloody part, Spain haven't still conceded a goal in this World Cup. Their unbeaten run has now stretched to around 34 matches, I suppose. I'm just looking at that stat. 34 matches. And suddenly, all those early doubts feel very distant because manager Luis de la Fuente wasn't celebrating like someone who had already won this tournament, because after the match, he delivered one sentence that might actually scare Spanish rivals even more. Satisfaction can actually kill. Just think about that. They aren't bloody satisfied. That's not a coach enjoying the moment. That's a coach already thinking about his next opponent, which is fucking scary. And speaking about the next opponent, get ready because football football fans around the world are about to receive one of the biggest fixtures, and if I think it is who it's going to be, it could possibly offer more. Spain versus Portugal. Lamine Yamal versus Cristiano Ronaldo. Bloody hell, the age difference is like robbing the damn cradle. The reigning European champions against one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. If this tournament was quietly warming up, it just found the bloody main event. Spain didn't celebrate wildly after the victory. They looked, they expected, they were comfortable, almost as if beating Austria wasn't just an achievement, it was simply just another page in a much bigger story. And obviously, for them, I would look at it that way as well, because champions don't usually announce themselves with fireworks. Sometimes they arrive wearing red and yellow, pass the ball a few hundred times, and leave everyone realizing that they've just stolen the entire show. And that's what Spain did. And I think they might do it again versus Portugal. But let's see. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done it, like, subscribe, share, leave in those comments, and I'll see you all at the next match. Wah, wah. See you all. Bye bye.